Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk about metaverse and Web3 games. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Yoshihisa Hashinato, and I'm from Tokyo, Japan. This is my first time to visit Istanbul. I'm really looking forward to go sightseeing tomorrow. And I used to work for Sega. I was the game director of Sonic Unleashed and the technical director of a game engine called Hedgehog Engine. I also worked at Square Enix as CTO and as technical director of Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV is an MMORPG, a role-playing game that can be played online. If you visit the MMO population website, you can see the world ranking of the MMO. And Final Fantasy XIV is in the first to third place every day. It is one of the most popular MMORPG in the world, with roughly 1.5 million people playing every day and a total of 40 million users. MMORPGs have a pretty deep relationship with marriage. Since players have a very close relationship with each other, it is surprisingly common for people to fall in love and get married. Many users get married in Final Fantasy XIV as well, and my friend told me about an interesting service. It is a real wedding service called Final Fantasy XIV Wedding. What a surprise! This service is officially endorsed by Square Enix and Final Fantasy XIV. It's a real wedding service called Final Fantasy XIV Weddings, and both digital characters in the game and real people will be provided with wedding outfits. Bride and groom will enter with weapons from Final Fantasy XIV. There will be objects such as chocobos, and all the food will be based on the world. Japanese people sometimes provide these kinds of services that are a bit crazy. I talked about marriage in MMORPGs, but there are so many people who think that MMORPGs are life itself. For them, it is another life parallel to their real life. Next, I'm currently working for my company, Jiku Technologies, which makes services for AI, avatars, and metaverse. And with a world-famous Japanese artist, Takashi Murakami, I produced an NFT artwork called Murakami Flower. I also drew these dots. And I'm here today to talk as a level 99 person. Level 99 is a team that supports Web3 game studios and creates our own Web3 games. Let's move on to the main topic. Today, I'd like to talk about the topic, can Metaverse and Web3 games survive? I think it's a very interesting topic. I'll divide the talk into 5 topics. First topic, difference between Web2 game and Web3 game. Most publishers and developers of Web2 games use their own money to make the entire game before selling it to users. On the other hand, many Web3 game teams tend to create a small demonstration, get investors or venture capitalists to invest money, create more games, get users to buy NFTs, create more games, sell tokens through ITO, and then create more games. The idea is to continue creating games while receiving money. The way to prepare money and the development process for Web2 games and Web3 games are completely different. Next topic. I would like to think about the creation of a metaverse. I mainly consider the cost of developing a metaverse for Web3 games. Typical Web3 game studio loves these words: metaverse, AAA, MMO, open world. I made example phrases using these words. Our game gives you a brand new Web3 experience to play quality open world style MMORPG. That is true metaverse for the first time in the world. We are developing NFT marketplace, easy to use wallet, LAN system, dual token economy. Let's play and earn. Well, that's a perfect example phrase. I can feel that they want to appeal that they are making something great. If you are interested, please visit the Web3 Games website and read their white paper. Many studios use this kind of expression. They are all fancy expressions, but I think it doesn't matter what kind of expression the team uses. As long as they are actually made properly and the users are happy with them. However, if you really want to make these things properly, there is one thing you must definitely consider. That is, how much does it cost? How much does it cost to develop a metaverse? It is very important to think about this. Funding of typical Web3 game that appeared earlier. I will think about this using the following example. A game team raises $0.5 to $1 million from investors and VCs, 0.5 to 4 million from the NFT, 0.5 to 4 million from IGO. Total of 1.5 to $9 million. We are in a bear market right now, so it may actually be a little less. On the other hand, some projects are funded more. These are roughly typical numbers. Let's look at another number. Consider the man-months required to develop a standard style 3D game. This is an example. Produce, direction, and project management takes 100 months. Game design, level design, story, quest, and so on. Total, 2,001 months it takes. This amount is very standard. As standard 3D game development takes about 2,001 months. And in terms of money, it costs about $15 to $30 million. Of course, if you are in a country with a low cost of living, the cost will be much lower. But this is about the standard. AAA game development costs even more. It's about 10 times more experience. It may take 10,000 to 20,000 months of work. The cost can be as much as $100 million to $250 million. In fact, many AAA games like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, or Genshin, etc., cost this amount of money. Let's compare. Web3 games are $1.5 to $9 million. As I just mentioned, Making costs also have to come out of this. Like that, standard 3D game development cost 15 to 30 million. For AAA, it's 100 to 250 million dollars. Compare this. The amounts are hopelessly different. I recommend that both Web3 game studios and investors check again to see if there is a balance between the funds that can be raised and the cost required. The next topic is the token economy. In particular, I would like to think about play to earn. There are various play-to-earn games in the world: move to earn, sleep to earn, listen to earn, and so on. Blah, blah, blah. There are many different kinds of games. These various types of play-to-earn are sometimes called X-to-earn. I'd like to consider whether X-to-earn is sustainable or not. Whether it is single token or dual token, with or without NFT, with or without land, with or without marketplace, regardless of those details, I'd like to simply think in terms of all money coming in and out of the game space. In Web3 games, users usually buy NFTs or tokens to start the game. The total amount of purchases by all users is the light blue square. The light blue lower squares indicate what is returned to the user as play to earn. However, the cost of development and profit is also necessary. So the amount of money that can be returned to the user is reduced. But all the users think like this: I want to increase my money. Invariably, all of them think that. How to meet user expectations? You have to think about this in depth. And it doesn't matter if this cost or profit is large or small, the problem is the same. Total amount of money paid by all users is always larger than total amount of money all users can earn. This issue needs to be seriously addressed in game design. Let me change my point of view a little. What does X2R game management team want each user's profit and loss to be? To categorize users, I created 4 ABCD squares. The upside is the users who are currently playing the game. On the bottom are users who have already quit. On the left side, on the left are users who are making money. On the right are users who are losing money. First of all, I think the management team really doesn't want to have only A and B users. Because if only profitable customers are added, the management team will lose money. And the management should be happy to see an increase in the number of C users. If they continue to play hard while losing money, it is easy for the management to make a profit. And if you compare B and D, I imagine that the management may really want users to stop at a loss rather than making a profit and having them stop. And the more active users, the better. So we can assume that the management prefers a balance of more C's than B's. Maybe. But is this really right? And despite the fact that game management explains it as free to earn, I think the truth is that the management does not want the ratio of A and B users to increase. Is this the really right thing to do? We should not turn away from the paradox of the game economy crashing if all of the users can make more money than they each spend. It is only a matter of time before the game economy collapses, no matter how complex the system is designed to prolong its life. We need to carefully and seriously consider gameplay design and game economy design. A few more separate considerations for the game economy. X2R measures free to play. From the user's point of view, in X2R, you put in money and X. X can be, for example, work, sleep, or life, and so on. Then the structure is that you get your money back. In free-to-play, you put in money, free time, and user skills. You get fun, win, items, selling game data, etc. X2R allows users to spend money and time to buy money. Free-to-play allows users to buy fun by spending money or time. X2R is like building a microwave oven that doubles your money when you put money in it. It's impossible to build something that works correctly. However, the economic model could work by introducing an advertising model. It could work by having a map service company by the map information that users collect from their daily travels as right to earn. And similar idea, where users are asked to scan and upload their receipts when they make some purchases, and the AI company buys the big data from them, could be a viable ecosystem. After all, whether it is Web3 or Web2, value that can be exchanged for money must exist in the game. I think it would be a good idea to start by sincerely addressing that obvious issue. There are several reasons. Topic 4. Why Web2 game developers hesitant to enter the Web3 game market? There are several reasons. The first reason is that Web2 game companies have sufficient deposits and don't need to raise money from outside sources. And the second reason is the difficulty of dealing with tokens. It is very difficult to design and operate tokens in a way that does not collapse the gaming economy. So they are being very cautious right now. The third reason is that they see more disadvantages than advantages to handing over that ownership to users. The fourth reason is that play-to-earn game design and economic design has many problems, so they are cautious. The fifth reason is that they have to worry about the regulation of each country for issuing their own currency. The sixth reason is that they are waiting for a better tax system. Japan is particularly strict about 5 and 6, so people and Japanese game companies are more cautious. On the other hand, major game developers are not uninterested in Web3. Rather, they are strongly interested in Web3. Once they find a good design, they will enter Web3 at a tremendous pace. Especially in Japan, there are strong regulations regarding the issuance of currency. So I expect that more companies will design games using only NFTs without issuing currency tokens. The last topic is, can Metaverse and Web3 games survive? The terms Metaverse and Web3 may gradually fall out of use. However, the core concepts will always be needed and evolve in the future. Here is a list of key concepts that will remain. A place where many users gather and interact online as themselves or someone else. This will become next generation SNS. Second thing is concept of sharing the space of being there, sharing a sense of presence. For example, Clubhouse is a place where only the icons are visible, but the experience of sharing the space together is great, and you feel a sense of presence with the people in the same group. I think this can be called the great metaverse. Last thing is RMT, real money trade. I think that the system of buying other people's items and selling one's own items will become important in the future. On the other hand, there are things that are better to have and will survive, but are not essential. Of course, they are all important. But 3D space is not necessary to make metaverse or Web3 games. And 3D avatar, VR, AR, UGC, they are same. I mentioned earlier that MMORPGs are live. In the same way, I believe that the combination of the characteristics of the metaverse and the Web3 will become a mechanism to provide people with another life. Finally, let me introduce you to level 99. Hide was lead programmer for Final Fantasy XIV. Yusuke is a YouTuber and investor. We have many other experts on board. And level 99 offers a variety of solutions to game developers and investors. We help with development and marketing. We help with due diligence. And we match investors with game projects. Next, let me share with you some of our specific activities. There are launchpads called Certify and Portal Starter. They incubate many Web3 games. There are also projects called Realm Hunter and Mummy on the list. We have a relationship with Certify and Portal Starter to support their Web3 game projects. Let's take a look at a few videos of Mummy.